Welcome to episode 379 of the KISS FAQ podcast. I'm your host, live and in color, or in somewhat desaturated color, Julian Gill, admin on the FAQ board. Thank you to the early birds who've joined us, J. May, Adam NC from North Carolina, and J. May again. No, we didn't get the Dubai package. That futility. Joining me today so far is Ken, the voice of reason, and Mark Anthony, Marcus Almighty. And we should have a couple of other guests jumping in during this. We're going to get going with the live broadcast, which is today. We're celebrating Halloween, as been pointed out in various places. Today's the actual broadcast anniversary of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Opera. I know Park. I know it's Park. But,
Okay.
It actually aired on Saturday, the 28th of October, not on Halloween itself. It was a 2-hour Saturday special that year, and it did horrendously in the ratings. It was actually 45th most popular broadcast. Okay, yeah, but it sounds like so many people watched it. It's like the number of people who came over on the Mayflower. Everyone says he actually watched it. I think those ratings indicate that the Kiss Army certainly did not. So, hey, Rock and Roll Videocast, thanks for joining us. So we're going to get going straight into what we want to talk about. Is we're going to do a viewing party for the Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder, which I think did air the night of Halloween. Yes. And
79.
It's a really cool copy of the show that we've got. It includes some of the original TV commercial breaks during it, which we've left in this. So we're going to talk about it while we're over it. You put in your comments about stuff as you go, and we will broadcast those out as well if they're R-rated.
Hello, Jambo Georgie.
And let's go. 5-second countdown. Hopefully Andrew will get here because he actually was very helpful in getting this. And if you can put in the chat window if you can hear us or how the volume is on everything. We have no way of testing any of this shit live. So it could be a train wreck in progress.
This is our Halloween special from New York, and have we got a show for you tonight. Little did anybody realize back in the early 1970s what an impact four men from New York would have on the rock scene in this country. Since 1974,
love that tie.
Kiss has produced
the tie, the sweater,
the 70s
were really
11 out of 15 albums
really
have gone platinum.
Elegant.
They are known for the incredible
probably snorting
illusions
cocaine
and
and
theatrics
banging
during
whores
their
backstage.
The drummer goes 30 feet up in the air and turns around. The bass player grunts, groans,
The
flies
bass
40
player.
feet up in the air.
Bass player. There
The
you
lead
go.
guitarist sets off fireworks and smoke illusions and blows up his guitar.
And you
the
can
rhythm
actually watch
guitarist
a
crashes his own
official
guitar into
excerpted
easy,
copy of this on
easy,
Kissology, can't you?
And he passes them out to the
Very
audience
edited.
of the concert, and the audience takes them home and trades them for food. Kiss is best known, however, for their mythical personas on stage, the wild makeup.
Hi, Richard. Thanks for joining us.
Costumes, the superheroic posture, and they're all here tonight. The Kiss phenomena does not stop with sound. There are Kiss games, lunchboxes, toys, pinball machines, and soon to come is Kiss World, a traveling amusement park. It
So
all
they
adds
thought.
up to an incredible
So they
organization.
thought.
Never happened.
Millions of dollars
Instead,
and
there's a
millions
Kiss
of
cruise
fans,
going
and
on.
here they
So to
are.
everyone who's traveling to that, good luck.
They always showed this in around 79, 80 era. For any appearances they appeared on, they always showed this clip.
It's great footage, though.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, they wanted to rare, good, decent performances.
Did a full
There's
Dynasty.
some bad shows from this
Russia.
tour, man. Peter's drumming was pretty off the mark on this tour.
Yeah. he was-
Yeah, you know, by this tour, his unhappiness was pretty clear. So,
Hey, David, what's going on, dude?
hey, David, you stayed up late.
drinking coffee.
Wow. Now, let me tell you something. These
We're
four
just
young men
racking up
walked
the
in here this
copyright dings
afternoon
today.
About, what, 3
Oh,
hours
yeah.
ago? 4 hours ago?
Don't be surprised if we could
Enormous
knocked
sacks
off for a
filled
bit
with
too.
all their outfits, their shoes and their chokers and their capes and their jewels.
What's up,
and their
Lonnie?
paraphernalia
How you guys
and their
doing?
makeup,
Hey.
and I cannot believe that they would spend all this time because they're not going to perform here tonight. Oh, but rather get into themselves. That's what we like to do. Get people into themselves. So they did
That's
this
not
for us,
hard.
and I'm so appreciative of this. And they'll all be out here in just a second. Individually, they are Gene Simmons, the bass player, Peter Criss, the drummer, Paul Stanley, the guitarist, and Ace Frehley, the lead guitarist. And they're here this evening to help us celebrate Halloween. And Kiss will
Here we
join us
go.
in just a moment.
Yeah.
A little bit later on tonight, we have Miss Dorothy Dietrich, who bills herself as America's leading female escape artist and magician. Now, I've seen a lot of female escape artistry in my time, but I understand that Dorothy is awfully
only on
good
dates.
at this. She is the first woman to professionally recreate some of the legendary Harry Houdini's great escapes, and she will show us some of those tonight. And Halloween being
That
the
was
most
actually
sacred
on the
day
rest
the
of this
year
tape, but I
magicians,
edited
the
it
day
out for this
Houdini died,
for this
Miss
live
Dietrich
stream.
and many of
I
her
don't
fellow
really
magicians
want
earlier
to
this
watch it.
evening,
I
will
watched
have
about
held a
3 minutes of
seance
it
in
and
an
got
effort to
bored.
contact the spirit of
Yeah.
the great Houdini. On our stage tonight, Mr. Donald Berman, one of the newer members of our staff, will be sawed in half by Dorothy Dietrich. Now, let me tell you about Donald Berman, and you'll meet him in just a couple of seconds. Donald came to us from the NBC News Department, WNBC TV here in New York. Donald is a terrific...
That
guy. He's one of
hairdo's
the
killing me,
hardest-working
though.
guys on this staff.
Is that a hairdo or is that
Could
a
be a
high quality
toupee.
wig?
They
Yeah.
Might be a wig.
It's looking like a piece, doesn't it?
Or a
play
good
it straight,
comb-over.
You know what I mean? Donald
No,
comes
it's,
every day. Today he came in dressed suit, tie. The man is always presentable. We come in, the jeans, the sweaters, and all that. Donald is in tonight, suit, tie, the whole thing, and we're going to saw this man in half. Why don't we saw Larry Johnson?
Yeah, but
in
you're
half?
wearing a tie with a sweater.
I mean, let's go through the staff members that we would like to see
That was
sawed
the
in
style,
half.
though.
Called,
I know, I had a corduroy
called
suit.
Get the staff tonight. Franny Kohler, the makeup
I
lady.
used to
Let's
watch
saw her
this
in
show.
half. Paul Gorman, the stage
Otherwise, too, I used to
Debbie
watch it
Vickers
with my
saw her
mother
in half.
sometimes because I like to
George
see
Paul, the director,
people
saw him in half.
guests that were
Saw
arguing
me
all
in
the
half?
time.
No, no.
And I get a blast out of it.
Observer. A journalist.
Yeah, I think the only
Now
other
from New
Tom
York.
Snyder
We'll be right
episode
back
I've seen
in
is the
5,
Peter Criss one
4,
from the following year.
3,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
1, with Kiss.
All right, here we go. First batch of commercials, of course. It's the American way.
See if I remember these
This
commercials.
is what
Let's
I'm
see.
looking forward to.
Yeah, let's see how many of these pass muster in the cancel culture 2021.
To go with my homemade bread.
Oh, here's everything you need, except the meat. Soup starter.
Serve that with my bread.
Sure, it's homemade too. Add
Okay,
fresh
this is
meat
safe.
And simmer 90 minutes.
Except someone got offended at the
I
meat
don't
being
even
added.
remember that product. I don't think it lasted long.
I remember it.
You serve the soup.
Really?
I'll slice the
Yeah,
bread.
it might have been an East Coast thing.
Soup starter.
Oh, maybe.
Everything for a homemade soup.
Oh, I remember
except the
soup
meat.
starters. My mom used to have soup starters.
I never had a
I'm
soup
into
starter.
mind improvement.
Well,
This is a great
Remember
one.
her.
With Lakeside
I
Sport
remember her.
Park.
More of her.
Isolation, an overboard, and now to exciting
Yeah, put the
things.
games
Put those
down.
games down.
And trespass. Each one's different.
Trespass.
It's really a challenge. You know what? I never
What?
knew thinking could be so much fun.
Improve your mind.
bet.
in a fun
I like
way with
breathing,
brain
too.
games From Lakeside.
Oh, my God.
Because they got fun things.
Oh, Blondie, you're the reason the
It's play.
ozone layer's gone.
The fit I need for the look I
The
love,
legs.
that's legs. Hi, Juliet Prowse. You don't have to be a dancer
Let's get back to that
to
board
want
game.
your legs to look their best. And with Legs regular pantyhose, they can. Legs has memory yarn.
That's right.
Stitches out and
Used to
back.
come in like
It's my
an
legs,
egg.
Your legs,
Those-
the fit we
Yeah.
need for the look we love. Believe me.
No, you see your drugs.
24 hours ago, I put on
It's
the
a guitar.
Fresh Lash mascara, and I've been non-stop ever since. Beat Shelly unless it doubles.
Oh,
swam
I don't know. It's
for
worth it
miles.
for the ads, guys.
Is the
Yeah.
24-hour formula that seals
We've seen the show so many
eyelashes
frickin'
all
times,
day,
as is
all
everyone who's
night.
watching.
The commercials are intriguing.
Sang past midnight, slept like a stone.
It's a really good point.
After
Yeah,
24
amazing to think
hours,
that in just
my
over a
lashes
little
still look
over
fresh.
half a year, the dynamics of Kiss would change. With Eric Carr, the Fox. Absolutely right, Ronnie.
From
Amazing
Maybelline.
that it was all coming to an end at this point.
Oh, no,
Here
we're
we
back.
go.
Now, here are the remarkable members of KISS. And first of all, Mr. Gene Simmons, who is the bass player, who is the bass player. Mr.
His
Peter
face
Criss,
is
who
sad.
is the drummer.
Off we
Mr.
go.
Paul Stanley, who is the guitarist. And
All
Ace
that's missing
Frehley,
is a
who the
Reynolds
lead
Wrap
guitarist.
commercial.
I'm the trout player.
Here we go.
Now, tell how this started, you know, because Gene came in and he said, I didn't know I played bass. And I said, well, I see Aykroyd on Saturday Night Live with the bass fish, and then you say the trout player.
I have to excuse it. Bass.
Yes,
I've been called many things, but not the bass.
Never a bass
I hate
player.
Never a bass player.
What would happen if you went out on stage for a concert and you didn't set off the fireworks and you didn't break up the guitar and you didn't have the smoke and the fire and the blood and all that, and you just came out and did your thing? What would they come to the concert?
It would still be a rip-roaring rock and roll show, because what we do...
Peter looks pretty
when we
lit
go out
up,
there,
too.
We don't stand still when we play our instruments.
He
We
wasn't.
run around and
It was
pretty much raise hell.
Ace who
Can we say that on
drank
TV?
most
Yes,
of
you
the
can.
backstage.
Well, we raise hell.
I have medals from, early
Past world
days in high
wars.
school track, track, and I'm sure we're four very athletic.
Yeah, Gene's
young
right. They
gentlemen.
were able to do it
It's
without
incredible.
Yeah, this is
the makeup and stuff
I mean,
in
this
the
is
80s. So.
going out like this. So if we didn't go out like this, a lot of people would be really disappointed because Kiss is known for the big show. So why shouldn't we go out and do what people expect?
How does what you do now in concert, what we saw on the videotape, and I'm assuming that that's reasonably recent, how does it differ from when Kiss first went out on stage? Did you come out with this tremendous energy right from day number one?
The energy was there. The equipment wasn't. We used to go out and we wanted everybody to think we were famous and that we were very big. So we used to have amplifiers that were empty because we couldn't afford speakers.
I remember that.
We'd pile them against the walls and we'd tell the lighting man.
Yeah, I
"Don't
agreed,
put a light
Jamie.
on them," because you
Peter's
could see
looking
the
rough, man.
regulars
A lot of
and you could see
coke,
where the
man.
speakers were. The energy was always there. When we used to play little clubs, we
Peter
started
could
out playing on
ace
Amityville,
drunk.
Long Island, and we always said, "This is the garden."
Yeah, there's some good comments that'll be made by the guys.
In fact, I remember opening up for lots of bands that had half the equipment. Oh, I see there's a live human being over there. Half the equipment.
Cockroach.
What the?
Right here in front of
That's a
us.
cockroach.
Have you recorded your laugh?
No, we want to, though.
You these guys have been talking about recording my laugh. We've done 15 albums. They've never done it. Maybe on the 16th album they will do it.
I think you recorded on your solo album. You did.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
He didn't.
Ace has been saving this for this.
Absolutely
It's in his real laugh.
It's just a compilation of.
All right, upcoming and future Kiss albums, Ace Frehley's Rap. Right.
You were saying something.
I forgot.
All right, fine.
No, I know what it was. We when we first started out, we had.
I mean, did someone just
so
raise
much
their hand to
equipment that
speak?
The other bands. Yeah.
You start doing that on the show.
Oh, you remember the Marshall amps?
Oh, the phony Marshall amps were
That's right,
incredible.
phony Marshall amps. And we used to open up for these bands that had nothing. All they had were guitars and drums, and we had this 6-foot logo, and this was way back in '74. And people just used to get very, very angry.
You can hear it.
We could come out, put on.
Ace
looks-
laughing in the
looks
background.
good kill.
We're still doing a 30.
It would go up 6 feet, but there was like guys with ropes.
Oh, looks like he's constipated. Oh.
He wants to say
Prairie,
something.
I don't know. It's like he's thinking it's prairie dogging.
And the drums would go up, and Peter would be like this, and the ceiling would be getting lower and lower.
And I used to tell the guys, don't lift me anymore. They still keep going at it.
No, but actually, sometimes it worked on a chain drive, the first levitating drum set that we had.
Bicycle chain.
And sometimes it would skip.
Gotcha.
Just, have you ever have a 10-speed bicycle?
Surely.
It would go up like that.
And then
drop and go up ahead like a drop like a.
My heart
Very
I mean, Ace is actually remarkable lucid for the amount that he drunk before the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that he could describe that whole bicycle chain system that high, I mean, or screwed up.
While using his hands as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had to get used to wearing these kind of
Oh,
shoes.
how do you think he played his
Ace-
guitar?
Ace is notorious
Yeah.
for bad balance.
Exactly.
And,
Eddie Van Halen, same thing, right?
Maybe the
Yeah,
first
you do
couple
build
of
up a
months that we were
tolerance,
on
that's
tour,
for sure.
Invariably, once a night, you would hear a thud on stage, and you would look.
Peter
and
looks
Ace
like
would
me.
be sprawled
Gonna
out.
go to sleep
And
after a couple
troopers,
drinks.
We would run over and play over.
These
like it
guys
was
were
part of the,
incredible.
it was
If I
part
would
of the
fall on stage, these guys would run over to me and make believe like it was part of the show. They'd stand over me and we'd do like this. Up and over down, we put the guitars together and bounce them off.
See, if he was wasted, he would have fallen off the back of that chair.
Right.
You see the audience going crazy. What goes through your minds? Do you have time to think about audience reaction while you're
I
performing?
feel like I'm in a movie. I always get the feeling that.
Poor Dean.
You know, with-
I have something
comparing both
profound
everybody
to
else,
tell
it's
the
almost
world.
Like the mid-60s,
And
like
Ace
we're in
is,
a Beatle kind of movie, and we're not even playing ourselves because
Epic makeup on Gene. Is this makeup different than the makeup that he put on? Is this like a variation of his makeup, or?
Big night for
I think it's the same
Well,
thing. Isn't
at
it?
the round that time.
screaming,
At the time,
Yeah.
yeah.
crying, and all that.
Crying, why did I spend all that money?
Look at that. That's classic.
Yeah. What's true
Gene's
then?
like,
Certainly
oh, I
true
can't
now.
believe it.
right here. True confession time, right here. Huh? True confession time, right here. Exclusive on the Tom Snyder program.
You'll suffer in the dressing room.
Whose idea was Kiss? Who invented Kiss?
We all did.
Yeah.
We've been to, Gene and I were together for about 9 years.
And there you have it.
Not sexually, just
Kiss is a result of all of them.
Part of the program.
Yes.
I want to slip it past 120, and then we'll get into the drugs and all that stuff.
No, none of that.
Yes, keep it clean. Yeah.
Look at Peter. Like,
No, he was saying 9 years.
Yeah, we've been together.
Where?
And then we broke up a band we were in, and Peter joined us, and then Ace joined us, and the rest is Kiss story.
We always wanted. I always wanted.
Kissmas, it's like everything is
Really?
Kiss. Christmas, Kiss story,
The thing was, we always wanted theatrics and music together. I did by myself.
We're still hoping for it.
No, and finally I met these.
There's that word,
people.
by
They
myself.
wanted it.
Yeah.
First single.
Bowie.
Tom McCann,
And then
398
we got
specials.
Mark. That was it.
Can I just go around the horn here and start with Gene? And tell me where you're from and where you went to school.
Yeah, he's not
All
gonna
right,
say.
I've got a question to ask you. My manager's off stage. Is this true confession time or am I on?
No, you're
All right.
really on.
All right. Then I'm from New York City.
Wait a second.
I'm not gonna reveal it.
Queens. I'm from Queens, New York. Actually, not too far away from Paul's house. We kind of used to wave to each other before we knew each other. That's right. Before we knew each other, I'd see this guy waving back. I'd wave.
Gene was
and
into
then,
telescopes.
Ace loves it.
Ace loves
Can I
anything.
tell you something funny? Before you guys came on, they gave me a little sheet on each one of you to read, where you're from and how you grew up and blah, blah, blah. And the note said, now, Ace seems to be the most laid back of the four, and he's the one who'll probably be the hardest to make talk. Now, you want to...
Well, this is not Ace.
This isn't
No, this is George. This is George.
I'm an imposter. Ace is back in his ass.
That's true.
We got our road now.
Who's on first? What's on second? Listen, Tom, about that swampland in New Jersey you were wondering about.
It's like, where did that come out of?
in New York.
Gene?
Yeah, where's that?
We're all New York guys.
I don't know where.
Queens, Brooklyn. man.
I grew up 211th Street and Broadway. I was the only Jew in an Irish neighborhood. And you learn to either run or fight. And then I moved to Queens.
But he used to paint himself green
We were still running this.
every once in a while.
I like that. You're
That's where
still
the
running.
comes in.
I knew Gene and I would be in a band together because he was the only guy in Queens who was wearing whiteface and a ponytail. This guy.
That is true. Boots like this is,
Hey, Javier.
it's not your regular 398 Tom McCann special.
That's right. Those are $7.98 at Hardee's.
$7.98.
Hardee's.
Tell me about your outfits. I mean, did you design your own outfits, all of you? And tell me what each outfit means. And I'll start with you, Ace.
Well,
That means a
I
cucumber.
think this outfit is self-explanatory.
Jesus.
I mean, this is part of a kind of a V shape. This is my utility belt, and we don't want to go any below than my waist area because that's reserved for concert.
Is your new word for the day, belower.
And then after
Belower.
all over, they say, this is
This I
what we
saw
paid for.
And that's why I always feel short.
I stole this from Flash Gordon, and I have my cape.
But you're kind of like a spaceman, huh?
No, actually, I'm a plumber.
Well, listen, I got a little piece of pipe backstage.
They're
I'd
all
like to have you work on.
Gene and Paul are so. God. They're uncomfortable on the left side there.
You all sweet talker, you. But I'll tell you, I read on the sheet that they gave me where they said that it's hard to get you out of your
I mean,
shell.
Tom is really good at dealing with this.
Oh, yeah, he's-
Oh, yeah.
This is
He's
so off the
professional.
wall, and he's absolutely unflappable at dealing with it. He's got to be sensing the vibes of negativity coming from Gene and Paul.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just turns his focus in on those two guys because he
they're
knows where
the
that's
entertainment.
That's the party. That's the value.
Yeah.
He knows
Yeah.
what viewers want to see.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to hear a bunch of serious, kind of, unfun people,
Because I'm into technology.
I think Ace doesn't need anything. I think he can just
very
power
needs
himself up there, His own power.
Ace's limo just right up there. I'm in your band.
Never a dull moment. Let me tell you something about Ace. When we were first starting out, we had a Mylar front to the bass drum. We would play these clubs, and we're still trying to figure out who it is that we are, what it is that we're trying to put across. And Ace ultimately...
Serious as that.
Ace, yeah, look. Ace ultimately would look into the Mylar and start laughing at himself.
And I thought he liked me. He kept up
Having a rotten time, right, Tom?
I'm having an awful time.
Take it easy. It'll get better.
Gene's having a rotten time.
We'll regroup here for a couple of minutes, and we'll continue with KISS after these words from the NBC television stations coast to coast.
Yeah, don't believe it.
I don't
They're not
believe this
recouping
man.
from that. Look at him. Oh, I mean, you got to feel so bad for the guys who are so concerned with image.
The image, oh yeah.
And moving the band in that AOR direction. Peter's just like sitting there. He's a passenger on this.
Yeah, he's just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Ever since Olin's announced rent control, thousands of people a week have been calling to rent cars.
Olin's, what do you charge to rent a car?
$32.95 a day and 0 cents a mile.
0 cents a mile?
Yes, $32.95 a day and 0 cents a mile.
For 0 cents a mile, I'll take it.
The new Olin's,
That's
0
actually
cents a mile.
really
To
good
reserve
point.
a car, call
Yeah,
212
this is
LT1
nothing compared to the Bill Grundy
6161.
interview. But I mean, that was because he
61,
hated
61.
them, didn't know anything about them, and was just confrontational. Tom
Yeah.
Snyder's prepared. Different thing, but Sex Pistols
Well, you know-
are like rabid cats.
You know the most recent the KISS biography, right? Or the not biography, but yeah, the biography that was just happened earlier this year. In that, Paul says that the Peter Chris laughing, he was laughing at Gene and Paul. But that's not true. I mean, it's like he's just so sensitive that he thinks it was directed at him when it was just them laughing at Ace.
Yeah, they were just in the moment. I mean, they're not.
Gene is so just full of himself. He thinks everything is about him. Like,
And each price includes
Paul
installation
thought,
of a rubber
that
Paul
they
actually
were
laughed,
laughing at
you
Gene
know.
and-
He loosened up, it seemed, as it went on, you know.
Great carpet value.
Well, there's
Coffee,
nothing else
huh?
they could do.
Yeah, I think it's their memories of it are representative of their kind of their version of history. They're laughing at me. No,
How they
laughing
felt
at
at the time.
Yeah, they're Ace and Peter unleashed and just going with it, and Ace is, Ace. So and Gene and Paul, they just weren't right for these sorts of circumstances, and it kind of shows. They were good in control, and like if you invite someone into the Allcoin offices for an interview, that's great. I mean, they are good interviews, but but Ace and Peter, they were the rock and rollers.
I was just talking with the gentleman in KISS, George and Peter and Paul and Ace about
George and Peter and Paul.
I want to ask.
Oh, George! Oh, you're Ace!
Gene's love's gonna love that.
George, how about Gene in the background?
The bass player. All right, you better tell him about that list right now. Because you're not getting away with it.
You were telling me about something that happened on the road.
Well, why don't we let Paul kick off the story? And
All
I'll
right,
finish
fine.
it.
Like I said, Paul was
We
going
were
to
in
kick off the story.
Arkansas.
There's so many great road stories. It's really an education. When you go out on the road, you're really green. I just thought of something. The very first tour we did, you expect all these women and you start settling for girls. But
Confessions on here.
I
Christine
remember
16 here.
one instance where I didn't even tell you. I was with a girl in my room and I said to her, "So tell me a little about yourself." And she said, "I just got out of the nut house." Oh, that one.
Yeah.
No, but the story we were talking about, we were in Arkansas, and I was
That's why you wanted me to stay in your room that night.
I was with a girl, and this was the first tour, and it turned out
This is about 4 years ago.
turned out that she was 16, and it turned out there was
See,
a prison
uh-oh.
right across from the hotel, convenient to take me away, and it also turned out that she made her living going from room to room in the hotel. She was a hooker, and all of a sudden there's a knock at my door, and it's the police telling me to open up or else. And I can't figure out what's going on except that somebody must have told on me. Meanwhile, Ace is in the room next door throwing his furniture onto the highway, having a party.
We were on the 20th floor of a hotel, and I don't want to name the hotel because I don't want to be incriminated.
Again.
Anyway, I threw all my furniture out the window, and I was with two other friends of mine that actually were from New York, but had somehow ended up in Arkansas at the moment. Anyway, to make a long story
I thought
short,
we were in Canada.
my road manager runs in the door and he says, "The state troopers are here. They're going to arrest you." He said, "Get in bed and put your head under the pillow." I said, "Great." So 5 minutes later, the state troopers walk in, and there's my road manager, Frankie Scanlaro. Hell of a nice guy. I love him. And he says, look at him. He's drunk. He's under the pillows. He didn't do anything.
He was go to balls.
There
There
was
was con on us. He was
a lot of people in his room. There was a big party. They got him drunk. They drugged him. They threw all his furniture out the window. They ran out the door.
They got him drunk.
Are they protecting the
They
image?
got me drunk. I
Drugs.
fell out.
No drugs.
They threw all his furniture out the window. Look at him. He's
Please.
gone. And he talked his way-
And it flew, huh?
Yeah.
That wasn't the first time he talked his way
Didn't
out
Paul
of
Stanley
our,
wear a
out
Coke
of
spoon
our
around?
trees.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say it because in Destroyer Time he had a necklace with a Coke spoon.
Going into the last
Yeah,
commercial. I
but
don't know
that's
if you still
also
have the
again,
piece
you
of
get
music
to
and you said something
79
about
and
it.
it's a
lot of people
business,
won't
and you're
recognize
so
that.
frightened,
That's
even
written by
then,
Peter Criss.
As
you know,
being
of
kids.
offending your
Yeah. And if
demographic,
it's
which
still
had
up, you
gotten
could just
younger.
sneak it in a
You didn't
bar
want
or two,
parents
because
not
maybe
watching,
people watching this
you
have
know,
short
Kiss
memory
Meets
span.
the
I think
Pants.
the Coke spoon was actually Bob Ezrin's,
People
but
have preconceived
he put
notions
it around
about,
Paul's neck,
who it is
so
that Kiss is. You know, they think that all the yards, you know, guitars, loud guitars.
Don't make me
drums.
apologize to Bob again.
We're also for
Yeah,
happy-go-lucky
sorry.
kind of guys that wear makeup. You know, no.
Go ahead.
We,
here we go.
Peter Criss.
The song that saved
Naturally, they don't
Kiss,
play the vocal.
That's us doing
No
the
guitars, no
violin.
drums, that's right.
or Save Destroyer, that is.
Save Kiss. Well, live Save Kiss, but
Live Save
I
Kiss,
was up
yeah.
and down.
The Save
So
Destroyer.
that goes to show you we could write with.
well, like they said, Alive made them stars, Destroyer and Beth made them superstars.
Get the bear going.
Yeah.
I do every night. With
Oh,
a tape.
here we
We
go.
use a tape. I use a tape, but I sing live to it. And
He was
we
too
won
quiet.
People's Choice Award for it. It was a big hit for us.
But you played the violins yourself?
No,
we
no,
had
no,
like
no.
a
You have charts written out
I love
for
Peter.
you know, the very
Look at
section.
it, he's getting to talk
and you
about
make
his
sure that
song
they
and
play the
they're
right melodies
and they're
and the right
butting in on his
timbre.
moment.
A lot of people, you know, have so many preconceived notions about Kiss, but the greatest thing about the success we've got now is that we're basically free to do anything we want. Like this.
What are you doing?
He's ruining your teddy bear.
That's why you're a
He's
space
ruining
bear.
There it is.
Space bear. The only space bear in captivity. I got him. He's captured.
Captain Bear.
Space bear.
How are you, Tom?
I'm all right, thank you. In your off time. I mean, when you're not performing, not in your off time, but when you're. What is the recreational activity that you enjoy?
Oh, orgies,
Yeah.
or
Speak for yourself.
sacrifices.
That's okay, but drugs are not.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's fine to say.
I mean, everyone was high in the 70s and swinging.
I do
Yeah.
various things.
Do you mind if I hold on to him?
No, you can hold him as long as you like.
Thank
Just make certain that when you leave, he stays.
Okay. I've heard the horror stories about thefts. Yes.
Watch horror movies, collect Betamax cassettes of horror movies, cartoons, old. Try me. Name me any horror movie, and I'm putting you on the spot. As old as you want. It could be silent.
Nerd.
This is his game. Gene's got you, man.
Of course he's going to get me. He's gonna
No,
get me real
because
fast.
I'm not that good on horror movies.
Well, Pat told me that you were.
You don't?
No, he like. I heard you like the old gangsters movies because I love the old.
No, he doesn't like that either. He
No,
just
I
likes
don't
bears.
care for those.
How about
Cartoons. No.
Cartoons I care for.
All right, try me.
You mean if I give you a cartoon and you'll give me the plot, or what?
You could do that.
Animation.
All right, I'll give you one. Bugs Bunny, Hairway to the Stars.
Hairway to the Stars is when he goes, when the big spaceship lands, the Martian comes out.
You got it.
With the little helmet,
almost
and
Roman.
Chuck Jones produced it from an original script by Robert McKimson. You can check on it.
I don't have to, because Chuck Jones was here about 3 weeks ago, and I remember that conversation.
Oh, that's
We
convenient.
talked about Hairway to the Stars.
Yeah.
Well,
I've always
You
wondered,
also-
is that a
when you say
planted
horror
question?
movies, do you mean mystery movies as
Yeah.
well?
Sounds like it.
Or does
Sounds
Gene
like it.
actually, I mean, does Gene
That's a
actually
French
know
movie
that stuff?
from,
Because that,
He knows that stuff. He was totally.
no wonder
into that stuff.
I
Kiss
don't really
nerds
go
are
into,
so
suspense
incorrigible
mystery
if
as
Gene
much
knows
as
that
something
sort of
that's got,
stuff. We got nothing on him.
sense of oomph about it. How about that? That's a French
Well,
movie.
then you'd know the
I
day
like
the Earth stood still.
Of course, 1952, Michael Rennie, Gort the Robot, Cocky Nikto. Hi, Mom.
No, that's a
He
third.
watched a lot of TV and movies.
We watched a lot of
Yes,
TV.
that's
Invaders
what-
from Mars.
Invaders
It's a
from
third
Mars,
pressing
1953
Filmworks label.
1953 with, who was Lou Costello's girlfriend? God.
Quick.
Hillary Brooks
Brenner.
is right. Bring him on the stage.
Hugh Brenner was-
Hillary
was-
Brooks
was
was
the
the mother of the child.
So that's
right.
trivia, horror movies, and you watch them a lot, and you have a
Yeah.
collection of them?
In fact, yes, I got into my little straitjacket, put on the Betamax.
I don't know. Gene looks like his
Hello,
backbone's
Louie.
about to slip.
Yeah.
Little disconnected things come out.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a living, you know what I mean.
And you.
I fantasize being a masked crime
You.
fighter.
Yeah, you. No.
That's what I always wanted to
You.
do when I was a kid. This is about as close as I can get you. The other time when I'm not on stage, I kind of sit in my apartment and say, I want to be alone.
That was very good.
I want to be alone. Isn't that's probably very true,
Dietrich.
according to his bio.
Oh, God. Want to be alone.
Isn't that wild for this? No, really. You should see what I wear on the street.
Nothing.
He's not kidding.
I don't know. When I was a kid, I always had this dream of becoming a crime fighter, but there was never any call for it. I always wanted to be on a stallion overlooking the Long Island Expressway.
Thank God for the elder. He got to do it.
Yes.
Just didn't work.
No, there aren't too many guys around on stallions looking over the Long Island Expressway with their hair blowing in the wind.
Except at night.
Paul, I felt crying.
Paul. Or Tom. That's funny.
Are you the one who used to one of you used to race cars a lot, or
Well, I tried it,
yeah?
but
Many
it doesn't
times.
work well for me. I've wrecked quite a few cars in my time. I'm very lucky to be here. I really am. So I stopped that. I promised there are no more racing cars.
Well, you know, Peter, we're very lucky to have you here.
Well, it's good to be
You know,
here, Tom.
it's really strange, you know, Tom. Peter has 9 lives. He's come close several times.
That's good, Ace. He's the
And we
cat.
still love him, and
Nine.
we're glad to see that he's still around. God love you.
So now I stay up watching late. I like Bogart movies and Cagney and
Cagney was awesome.
real
I
old
spent so
gangster
much time
stuff,
watching
you know, all
Cagney
those
movies.
Real, and I collect guns. I target shoot.
Guns.
I also hunt.
Toy guns now. We're not
See
talking
here.
about guns.
Protecting the image.
But as a
Toy
collector of them
guns.
because
I
of
collect them and I
Not
shoot
real
them over
guns.
targets. So I never hunt animals or anything.
what is it about having a gun collection?
Weren't guns in Phantom?
I'm fascinated by them. Maybe because I'm fascinated by
I don't
gangster
think so.
movies.
Oh,
If
no,
I
the
could
cops had
relive, I
guns.
would love to be in
Yeah.
the 20s and be like a
Oh,
dog. or a
yeah.
babyface.
When they shoot them.
In the movie.
Paul just said the eye. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Chopper didn't need no gun.
Gene, are you kind of the guy who kind of keeps it all level and keeps it all straight?
The mother.
Yeah. See, because again,
They're just kidding until they can do it.
Well, they're in really tight on Gene there, eh?
Because
for God's sake.
Gene Fine. Being a monster.
Well, try this for fun. Man's violent, for heaven's sake.
I can't be against.
You're rude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
all I know is if this guy gets himself in trouble, I'm in trouble.
Wait a minute. You can run around being a vampire and I'm That's not fair. We got.
It's not fair.
That's what I just said. He wanted to be a gangster in the 20s, and that's what he wanted to
But
be.
the 20s are over and here I am now, a drummer
That's
with
right.
kids.
But everybody's got a fantasy, and we're all good guys. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Probably have a good
We're all good guys.
We're all good guys.
Oh, I was giving the money to the poor.
Paul's like, what? Giving money to the poor.
All one of you has to do is say nanu nanu, and I'm up 40 feet in the air.
No, I wouldn't.
Now I've read again in the little thing, for the one that said, Ace probably won't talk at all. Toys, that you're a toy or a game collector.
That's true.
Gene, as Phil Donahue says, I need a little help here. You know what I mean?
No, I told Pat I collect antique toys.
I'm very articulate if I want to be.
Do you want to be?
Talk to me?
No, now we've gone through this.
Oh, there's a song title for the next
Let
album.
Ace tell you about
I'm
the
into
Talk to
science
me.
fiction,
Ground.
There you go.
I'm into technology. I'm fascinated by the fact that 5 or 10 years from now we'll be able to have space stations circling the Earth that are totally controlled and energized by solar energy. That are totally independent of the Earth. I think that's
Well, yeah,
fascinating.
Did that actually
Would you
happen?
care to tell our audience what you
Yeah.
Well, no, they're fully powered by solar. There's solar power, yeah. Up there.
Well, they had Skylab in the 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's all that solar shit as well.
But actually,
I'm a Taurus. I'm a down-to-earth human being, and
Yeah, right.
Taurus is an Earth sign. Come on, let's get back to reality.
But Ace is instant.
We are.
Tell him about the toy you've got under the ground, that big toy that you just built.
Oh, I built a recording studio underground, 18 feet underground, next to my house.
I mean, you're talking about the state of the art on the East Coast. There's no place like this.
It's automated board. It's all computerized. Cost me a lot of money. I don't want to talk about it. My Canon's ready to.
No, but
I'd
it's
like you to tell about the helicopter that you're building.
Well, I'm into radio-controlled, model airplanes, and most recently helicopters, which are more fascinating because they're much more challenging. Anybody that's into radio-controlled models knows that right now helicopters are hard to control. And it's a state-of-the-art now.
Bet you didn't know
it's
that.
Tough.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
The Germans make the best ones at the moment. Right now I have a Japanese one I'm having trouble with. I have a German one on order.
Nice.
I'm not talking anything. I'm talking about. But this guy's a good egg right here. He's a little hard-boiled, but he's good.
I mean, I said it earlier. He's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Actually, I think the
Being
fans
entertaining.
learned a hell of a lot about Ace from this back then. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's
We started
interesting.
doing concerts from the very first show on. The first show, in fact, was done pretty close by, 14th Street, right off of 5th Avenue. First show we ever did was New Year's Eve, 1973-74. My hair caught fire. There's a part in the show where I breathed fire, and of course I hadn't had too much practice then, and the right side of my hair caught fire, and everybody thought it was part of the act. You know, it just went right along with it, and I didn't know what happened. Somebody came, doused me with a towel.
That's the trouble with the show that we do. It's so big, and there's so much going on that when something really goes wrong or somebody gets hurt, nobody ever knows it. Well, at one show, I got hit with something, and my eye was bleeding. And go ahead, Paul, bleed from that eye.
Miami, when you got electrocuted.
I was electrocuted. I almost
Want to
died.
throw a bomb at me?
That's not fun. I've been laughing this whole show. In Miami, I touched the railing, which was metal at the time, and the railing wasn't properly grounded. And everybody in this group knows I almost died that night.
We finished that show, though.
Passed out. I couldn't, for the rest of the show, there was no feeling in my fingers.
That was a close
So
call.
since then, we've gone with more electronics. We've got
wireless guitars, now, so we
that
can't
don't need
be,
wires,
shocked.
based on the radio. Same principle that his helicopter is based on.
Yeah,
There you go.
Absolutely.
Even one
That's great.
What about
And I couldn't.
You got to start over because he was.
I mean, that's just a Kiss fan response
When he was
now.
electrocuted,
Absolutely.
somebody
That's great.
Hey, when Ace was electrocuted, you know, when we fried
I
Ace.
slowed right into it.
And the TV going
And
Oh,
it
this
really,
is
really
incredible.
hurt. I really couldn't hear for 3 months. It was really dangerous.
That's why we
Really was. I still can't hear. Why?
Peter? What?
No, you got to tell it all over again.
We were in some town, I don't know where it was, way down south. Way down Dixie. And I got some kid through it, they're called M80s.
Oh, the big firecracker.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was when we used to flush them down the toilet in
It was in
school.
Memphis, Tennessee. And it literally blew me off the drums, and I woke up in a car, and I went back and did the show, but I couldn't hear out of my ear for at least 3 months. It was really dangerous.
So that's why we got some bad reviews.
Yeah. But there's been some scary moments.
Who do you think is the audience for Kiss? Who do you play to?
We
That's a
initially
shot,
thought, we were doing this for ourselves initially because we started out. Here's the old rap
No
we had.
cliche.
We initially started out being the audience. It wasn't that long ago, and the premise behind anything that we do is we try to place ourselves in the audience. Would we like it if we did it? And we started out with pretty much of a middle teen audience, and now it's grown into a circus. We've got bears and
amazing.
True.
Leaps and bounds.
It's crazy. If we're in a hotel across the street from the halls we're playing, it really looks like Ringling Brothers because you see parents, you see 6 years old, you see 25-year-olds. It's really it appeals to a
Now
lot.
you see grandparents, great-grandparents.
Yeah, like the grandchildren.
No, I mean, on the one hand, it's really cool these days, but imagine what the original fans, had started out in 74.
That's what turned off the original
Right.
fans, yeah.
They went from leather, they went to Vegas, and then they became the family circus.
Yeah.
in
They were no
79.
longer
And
dangerous.
like when I was a teenager and seeing Kiss for the first time in the reunion tour, it was different to see kids at the show because like there weren't kids at the Ozzy show last week and there weren't kids at the Metallica show the week after that. It was
Yeah.
strange.
But now I'm older, I find it, more refreshing to see
No, I like
someone,
it.
someone taking their, like Alex
Sure.
did in Florida, taking his daughter to a Kiss show,
And you're a good man.
and you see 3 or 4 generations of Kiss fans. So double side, 2 sides of the coin.
Good to see you. Thank you very much. And
Yeah,
Paul,
the
thank
passage,
you. And I'm sorry I said
passing
you were
the
bad
torch,
for the
so to speak.
Gene.
He's a good fish.
Quite all right, Ralph.
He's a
Take it
good
easy.
egg.
Take care.
Thank you all very much.
We had a ball.
It's a pleasure.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
good to be
Happy
home.
Watch
Halloween.
out
Hi,
for
Mom.
that full moon.
Where are you?
Okay, true confessions. We'll continue after these words from our sponsors. Did I blow you?
All right, so look, oh, great lighting. Never noticed that.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Wow.
you didn't make it, and you provided such an awesome quality video as well. There you go. I just want to buy it. I want to kind of leave it on. There we go.
That's pretty cool, right?
Kind of got them nice. They're in the wrong places, but I never
The
noticed
colors,
that before. Yeah, so thank you, Andrew, for providing that, because it's so hard to talk about it while it's going on, because it's a train wreck that you just want to watch and watch over and over again. I mean, here we are, Halloween, another year. This is 42 years ago this weekend that it aired. So, you know, it's still timeless. How many times have you guys seen this? And Jay May raises a good point about 321 Contact, which was their next big, I guess, TV appearance in 1980. Wait, when was 321? I'm thinking Kids People 2 for the following year. But, you know, it got younger and younger as they went into 1980. Peter's gone. You know, I'm obviously working on the mass hysteria stuff, and I see how his name drops from memos in March 1980. So he was totally out of the picture. And then they are actually on a kids show. So, you know, Kiss never did Fat Albert, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Or Sesame Street. I mean, if you think, you know, Mork did, Robin Williams did Sesame Street. Alice Cooper did Sesame Street.
The Muppet Show. Yeah, the Muppet Show. I'm surprised they were never on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, I saw
good.
this. Yeah, I was just saying, I mean, you asked how many times I've seen it. I've seen it plenty of times. Definitely, I saw it the first time it aired in '79, and then they repeated it 1 year later at Halloween again in '80. And that was, who was that?
That was not me.
Marcus.
I got water.
Anyway,
Sorry, that was me.
That's all right, Mark. So anyway, and then later on, I got the boot. He didn't have anything. It wasn't on anymore. So bootlegs. I had a bootleg. I think I still have a bootleg of the full show without the commercials. But I've seen it plenty of times now. It's always fun to watch.
Lonnie, does it ever get boring for you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I remember the first time I saw it, I probably didn't see it till probably 1996. So, after, during the reunion tour, I just went Kiss crazy, buying any kind of bootleg videos and anything I could get my hands on. One of the VHSs I bought was a compilation of some stuff around this time, and I saw that. It was just blown away, just like couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, this really happened type thing. I guess I had seen like a snippet or two of it on Extreme Close Up, because I think they touch on it just a hair in Kiss Extreme Close Up, where they show like just a little bit of Ace. I knew it was out there, that there was some kind of interview they did around this time. As far as a full length thing, I had no idea. I just remember watching it over and over and over again that summer and the ensuing years, and it is timeless. And it's one of the it's one of the timeless moments in history, really.
Yeah, I think also for me, I got to it kind of late too. Not kind of like Lonnie, like back in around 91, 92, 93, around there, I started going to Kiss conventions because my friend who was a guitar player that was in the band I was in, he was huge into Kiss, and he was going to these conventions all the time. So I started going with them. And that's when I did similar to what Lonnie did. I would start buying all these, VHS tapes. Like I remember I bought Creatures of the Night era compilation of all kinds of television things and stuff like that. And I saw this one on a Dynasty comp that came out. Right. And that was the first time that I saw it. So it was like, I was like about in the mid-90s when I saw it. So I never saw it back in the day. Of course, my infamous sister, I'm sure Jane, she probably saw it when it was out, because she was huge into Kiss at that time too. So she probably saw it, but I got to it pretty late as well.
Yeah, with being in England as a fan, I stayed away from the video trading for many years and didn't get to watch it. I don't think until I moved back to the States in whatever year that was, 90 something. So it was then that I really started getting the videos, and I don't remember that much. It's kind of weird to think about some of the Kiss Halloween videos. Which is the one that you think defines Kiss in terms of Halloween? Is it this strictly because of the humor value. I mean, I find it easier to watch this than I do Phantom. Phantom, I have a great deal of challenge getting through because it's just so cheesy. This is not cheesy. This is like Geraldo or
honestly,
one of those shows.
For me, the thing that I associate with Halloween with them is Paul Lynde. I mean, even though I never saw it when it came out originally, but for me, that to me very much screams Halloween because it was all based around it. It was all decked up for Halloween there. Like a lot of the things that were non-Kiss related that happened during the show were all based around Halloween sort of things. Older scripts were Halloween stuff. So I really think whenever I think of Halloween, and I said this before in one of the episodes, that I actually watched Paul Lynde on Halloween night. I pull out my DVD of it and watch it because it's something that I associate with Halloween now, and it's ironic that I would do that because they were kind of hyping the Destroyer stuff, which was not my favorite material at the time, right? So, but I thought that the performances were pretty interesting how they did it then, and I remember getting a bunch of stuff. I think it was maybe off the FAQ site, a lot of this paperwork where they were talking about the preparations for the Paul Lynde show. So I always loved looking over on that stuff and reading up on the information on that. It was a great time, and it was cool to find all that stuff on the site to, catch up and learn about these things. So for me, Halloween's been Paul Lynde.
Lonnie, how about you?
It's interesting. I think different generations have different Halloween moments for Kiss. You guys mentioned Paul Lynde and Phantom, and obviously the Tom Snyder Show. And I think a new generation in 1998 had their own Kiss moment with Mad TV on Halloween night, followed by the first few songs from Dodger Stadium being broadcast on Fox, and a couple nights before that, they were all on that Millennium show with a bunch of promotion that Fox was doing for Psycho Circus. For me, it's that. For me, it is 1998. I mean, obviously, I didn't watch Phantom on, when it came out in October of '78. I didn't see this until '96. I didn't see the Paul Lynde show. For me, I turned 19 years old and I was, so into the band and, so psyched up for Psycho Circus tour kicking off, and that, Kiss Online was going to be streaming in 1998 is a different animal than streaming in 2021. It didn't really work at all. So, but I was really pleased with what I did get to see that night, seeing the first few shows. The first few songs from Dodger Stadium and seeing them in those Destroyer outfits, and like, wow, they look great. And that, the stage with the dual Kiss logo, seeing that for the first time, just being blown away, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this tour, and to see them in those skits on Mad TV was fantastic too. So for me, it's that, and I like I said, I think it's interesting, but I think different generations have their own Kiss Halloween moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for me because I wasn't there for any of those Kiss moments. So in the 70s, I love the Paul Lynde Halloween special. But I think if I was going to pick one, say I'm going to watch this on Halloween, it would be watching the Psycho Circus show from LA, not the Mad TV, because I was at the show, so I didn't get to see any of that stuff. That's my Kiss Halloween right there, is being at Dodger Stadium that night. Everything else is kind of cool to go back through. And I did a lot of views of the Phantom for the solo album book, but, that's not my era. That's not my humor either, with being, me, I'm Monty Python, and that was just not not very funny and very badly acted and just horrendous, just horrendous on every level. Paul Lynde is cool. With Wizard of Oz, I mean, Margaret Hamilton there, Pinky Tuscadero, Paul Lynde. How can anyone not like him? So if I'm going to have a revisionist pick, it'll be that. But I'm with Lonnie for 98 for Halloween, but from the different side of the fence. Sure. So what about everyone watching? What is your go-to on Halloween? I've seen some people posting today that Halloween's coming up. They are going to sit down with the Phantom on Halloween night. That's their trick and treat all in one. So I call that a rock in the trick and treat bag. But, whatever floats your boat. What are you going to watch? You're going to run Paul Lynde Halloween special? You're going to run Tom Snyder, or have we missed something?
Yeah, you did.
What?
Well, no, I mean, we talked about it a few weeks ago. Maybe you weren't here.
I can't remember yesterday, let alone a few weeks ago.
No. And I was talking about how I missed Paul Lynde and watched Bob Hope or whatever.
Yeah.
But and then I said the one I usually watch these days is the Kiss Unplugged.
That's good Halloween. That's
that's why I'm saying you missed some.
We're pretty bad. We didn't say that.
Kiss Unplugged is a
Nice save,
kind of a one that I like to watch. And I probably will. I mean, though I do, have a little, the Kiss Meets the Phantom. I did remember watching that on the, when it aired on the 28th, going up to Halloween. That was kind of a special time. I mean, that came out. The solo albums just came out, all in that same period of time. It was just they say Kissmas, I guess. But it was just an exciting time in Kiss. But for today or for Halloween's, I usually will watch Unplugged because it's just a great video performance.
And I leave it out because I was living in Scotland and there was no MTV Unplugged that night in 1996. So that's my excuse. Other than I'm obviously got senility kicking in early.
I don't have an excuse. That's an excellent pick, and I vividly remember watching that in my mom and dad's basement on Halloween night. I mean, and being so naive, not knowing that Ace and Peter were coming out, and like the element of surprise when they came out. That Ken, you're dead on. You saved it because that is an excellent pick.
Looks like I'll be watching 2 shows on Halloween this year because I'll go to Unplugged any day of the week. All right, let's wrap up with a new release. I did a unboxing video of it yesterday, but in case you didn't catch, I don't want to. Ace Frehley has a new Space. What is it? What's the official title? The Space Cassette Box Set, 2009 to 2020. It's a limited edition of 1,000 copies of his 5 E1 albums that's out on Monarch Heavy. I've opened them up now, so you get Origins Volume 2, Spaceman, obviously, and these are colored cassettes, if you can even see that. This is my infomercial moment. Origins Volume 1, Space Invader. Try and get it to look a little bit better since my framing sucked, but once you open the box you can't go back. Anomaly's got all the bonus tracks that came on the later issue, along with Ron Albanese's liner notes, and it's really cool. You also get a little box with 4 guitar picks in it, so limited edition. I think it's pretty cool. And again, like I said in the unboxing video, I think it's really cool that they're leveraging, cassettes are coming back in vogue a little bit.
Yes.
Why not? Someone said, why not 8 tracks next? Well, it's already been done. People are going back to those older formats.
Wow.
Well, I mean, because think about it. A lot of these vinyls that are being reissued, there's such a delay on getting the product out now. CDs you can get done much quicker and turn around. Probably cassettes are the same thing now. So a lot of bands are probably thinking, you know what, rather than making some of my audience wait, 9 months to a year for a vinyl, I can, in the meantime, put out some cassette stuff in the meantime,
Yep. All right. Anyone bought anything new, or are we going to wrap this up?
Nothing
how's
new.
How's Dubai, Ken?
Oh yeah, how is that?
His favorite topic.
I got the screener. I did get the screener for Dubai, like you. I guess a number of other people. I watched a little bit of it.
Didn't want the screener. We want our shit.
Yeah. It's like I think they're just trying to.
I read that email. It sounds very familiar, like to other emails that were kind of.
Yeah, they're trying to keep the
magical type emails that no refunds.
Quiet.
Stop asking.
Yep. And the next email will be we'll update you when there's something significant to report. Until then, leave me alone. I'm going to go to historians.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
I don't know what's next. I really don't know. Hopefully, it's something in January.
I was a little disappointed by what one person reported was Doc's, final kind of email. Stay in touch. That means, stay in touch. Means don't stay in touch, but it sounds like it's all a little bit out in its own orbit now for whatever is going to happen or not. Anyway, I'm hopeful eventually things will become good. Again, to everyone who's flying or traveling to Florida for the Kiss cruise. I got my refund. I'm not going. But I hope that you all have a fantastic time, that the bands all stay healthy, follow the protocols, have a good time. Who knows what it's going to be like, but have a great time, be healthy, come back and report whenever you get a cell signal and about how it's going. And you can even report on the FAQ. Yeah, people will be miserable about it, but don't let their negativity ruin your party. And if not, we'll hear from you when you get back. Now, if someone can do a podcast that's just like the Tom Snyder Show, that'd be money. All right. There we go. Tom Snyder, Tomorrow's Show with Kiss from 1979, from Lonnie, from Ken, from Mark, and myself. And thanks again to Andrew. We will see you all next time, and thanks for joining us.